students, in this video we will be seeing about three topics: subsidiary alliance, Anglo-Sikh wars and doctrine of lapse. So first let us see about subsidiary alliance. Lord Wellesley and the subsidiary alliance. The expansion of British Empire took a larger pace with the arrival of Lord Wellesley as the Governor General of India. So now we all know that the British policy was basically expanding their control over India. One by one place they were trying to annex and they were trying to conquer by fighting many wars. They were capturing many places. Together with fighting wars, they also adopted some policies. As we have seen in the last video, it can be said like some cunning policies were adopted by the British to expand their empire. So this expansion took a larger pace with the arrival of a person, Lord Wellesley, as the Governor General of India. He followed three policies to expand the British Empire in India. So what were those three policies followed by Lord Wellesley? Subsidiary alliance, waging war against the new states, and administering the states directly under British control. So first policy was subsidiary alliance, second one was a common policy, that is waging war against the new states, and third one administering the states or ruling the states directly under British control. Now let us see what is subsidiary alliance. It was introduced by Lord Wellesley in 1798. It was basically a military protection agreement between the East India Company and Indian states. So basically, subsidiary alliance was a military protection agreement, that is an agreement made by the British that they will protect the Indian states. So this agreement was made between East India Company and the Indian states. This subsidiary alliance had some conditions, that is, if a state signs subsidiary alliance with the British, there are some conditions. So basically subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley in 1798. It was basically a military protection agreement between East India Company and Indian states. Now we will see one by one what were the conditions of subsidiary alliance. So that means if an Indian state signs subsidiary alliance with British, what all those Indian states should do. The first one, Indian king had to keep the British army in his kingdom. That is, if an Indian king signs subsidiary alliance, he has to keep a British army in his kingdom. The second one, the concerned state had to bear the expense of the army, like wages of soldiers. That means if an Indian king is keeping a British army in his kingdom after signing subsidiary alliance, that army's expense, that is that British soldiers' wages, their expenses, everything have to be taken care by the state which signs subsidiary alliance. That is the Indian state which signs this subsidiary alliance have to bear the expense of army like wages of soldiers. Now the third condition of subsidiary alliance is the king has to have a British resident in his court. So first of all, an Indian king who signs subsidiary alliance have to keep a British army in his kingdom. Second thing is he has to bear all the expenses. And third condition was he has to, that is Indian king have to have a British resident in his court. The fourth one, the king could not appoint other Europeans without the permission of the British. That is, if the Indian king wanted to appoint any other European, he could not do it without getting the permission of the British. The fifth one, permission of Governor General was compulsory in order to enter any agreement with any Indian government. So for everything, if they have to enter into any agreement, that for that also the Indian kings have to have permission of the British Governor General. And the sixth one was company would offer protection to the state from any internal or external aggression in return for all these. That is, if all these five conditions are agreed by the Indian king after signing subsidiary alliance, then the British will give military protection to the Indian state from any internal or external aggression. This was the agreement made by the British with the Indian states for signing the subsidiary alliance. The British controlled Indian states through this policy and exploited them economically. That is, full control was there with the British after signing subsidiary alliance. And even economically also they were exploited, because all the expenses of the British army Indians have to take. So naturally that was an economical exploitation. The first state to enter this agreement, that is to sign subsidiary alliance, was Hyderabad. Hyderabad state was the first state to enter this agreement. Later on, many other states also entered the agreement. Mysore, Awadh, Marathas, Pune, Gwalior, etc. also entered subsidiary alliance. When we have studied about Second Anglo-Maratha War, in that we have learned how Peshwa had signed the subsidiary alliance. So, all the states including Mysore, Awadh, Maratha, Pune, Gwalior all entered into subsidiary alliance. By that we understand that all these states' control indirectly went into the hands of British. So subsidiary alliance, basically it was introduced by Lord Wellesley, and it was a military protection agreement between East India Company and Indian states, and there were certain conditions which have to be followed by Indian states after signing this alliance, and if all these conditions were accepted, then the company will give protection to Indian states from internal or external aggression. The first state to sign was Hyderabad, and later other states like Mysore, Awadh, Maratha, Pune, Gwalior also signed, and British controlled the Indian states through this policy and also exploited them economically. So next let us see about Anglo-Sikh Wars. Political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of King Ranjit Singh in 1839. That is, there was a political confusion in Punjab after the death of King Ranjit Singh in 1839. So in such a situation, naturally you know what British will do. British attempted to invade Punjab, violating the Continuous Friendship Pact. So British had already entered into a Continuous Friendship Pact or agreement with Punjab. But as soon as British saw that there was a political confusion in Punjab, British attempted to conquer Punjab, violating this agreement. In December 1845, war broke out between British and Punjab. Continuous war started to happen. So when this external attack was coming from British side, what happened in Punjab? Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims got together. They united in Punjab to defeat the British. But they were finally defeated due to a few traitor leaders. That is, some leaders among themselves only cheated. That is why they were defeated and British won. They had to sign an agreement called as Lahore Agreement in 1846, and British resident became the de facto ruler of Punjab. That is, they not having legal de facto ruler means he did not have legal right, but British was acting as the ruler of Punjab. Sikhs opposed the British attempt to rule Punjab directly. The Sikhs were not liking this and they opposed the British attempt to rule Punjab. The opposition was led by Chattar Singh Atariwala in Lahore and Moor Raj in Multan. So many leaders came and they were fighting against the British. Again, people of Punjab later were defeated. So second time also they were defeated. And Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with British Empire. That is, finally Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with British Empire. That is, they got control over Punjab also. So slowly you can see, first you saw in Anglo-Maratha War what happened. Now in Anglo-Sikh War you are seeing how British is gaining control. So let us see once more. Political anarchy broke out in Punjab after the death of King Ranjit Singh, and that time British made use of the situation and attempted to invade Punjab. They had already entered into an agreement with Punjab of Continuous Friendship Pact, but British violated this and they attempted to invade Punjab. In December 1845, war broke out between British and Punjab. Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims got together to defeat the British, but they were defeated due to a few traitor leaders or a few leaders who cheated them. They signed Lahore Agreement in 1846. British resident became the de facto ruler of Punjab. Sikhs opposed the British attempt to rule Punjab directly. The opposition was led by Chattar Singh Atariwala in Lahore and Mool Raj in Multan. Again, the people of Punjab were defeated, and after this, Lord Dalhousie merged the state of Punjab with British Empire. As we have seen, the British were adopting a lot of techniques to gain political control over India. Wars were one technique used by them. They were fighting a lot of war. Together with that, many policies were adopted by the British. One among them was subsidiary alliance, which we had already seen. Now the next one was doctrine of lapse. Dalhousie and the doctrine of lapse. So this doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie in 1848. He tried to integrate Indian princely states with British Empire. So their main, already Punjab was integrated together with the British Empire. Now his main aim was to integrate all the princely states, Indian princely states with the British Empire. So for that, he adopted a policy called as doctrine of lapse. According to doctrine of lapse, the adopted children of Indian kings were refused the rights to throne. That means, if an Indian ruler dies without children, their adopted children will not have any legal rights over the throne. That is, if a ruler has his own child when he is dying, only then that child will have right to throne. If a ruler dies without children, then their adopted children will not have any legal rights over the throne. And such states gets merged with the British Empire. So that was a next technique used by the British. So princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Jaipur, all these states came under this policy. With the implementation of this policy, princely families and even ordinary people started rebelling against the company, because people started to understand what the actual policy of British was. So they started rebelling against the company. This later resulted in the Sepoy Mutiny in 1857. That we will see later, Sepoy Mutiny of 1857. So Lord Dalhousie in 1848, he tried to integrate Indian princely states with the British Empire. According to doctrine of lapse policy, the adopted children of Indian kings were refused the rights to throne. That is, if an Indian ruler dies without children, then his adopted children will not have any legal rights over the throne, and such states get merged with British Empire. Princely states like Satara, Nagpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, etc. came under this policy, and with the implementation of this policy, the princely families, even ordinary people, started rebelling against the British and the company, and this later resulted in the Sepoy Mutiny. So in this video we have seen about Lord Wellesley and his subsidiary alliance, what all were the conditions of subsidiary alliance. Then we also saw about the Anglo-Sikh war and how Punjab was merged with the British. And finally, we saw about Lord Dalhousie and his doctrine of lapse policy. So we have seen the techniques of British to expand their empire. So I hope you have understood all the three topics very clearly. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.